Hello traders. Hello LG. Is this the anniversaries? Welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat box. Was that music coming out of the microphone? Or was it straight desktop capture? I had big plans for the show, but in getting the software set up, that took up most of my time. I was going to wow you with poetic motivation. And I was going to plan all the different news stories, tell you about everything that was coming up next week, all the earnings and everything else. But actually, this is a musical dance experience. And you're the hardcore tuning here on a Friday. And you know what it is really, because the musical dance experience was cancelled. This is actually checking in. It's like a health check with the hardcore. Back on our journey of resilience, perseverance, and towards ultimate triumph. So tonight, as we gather around this hearth of our trading community, reminded of the timeless wisdom echoed through history's most powerful speeches, because I didn't write one of my own. A good quote worth remembering: we shall not falter, we shall not fail. And those resonate across all of us. High and lows in the trading world, we feel that resilience. From the initial steps of learning the basics to mastering all the different intricate strategies and sharing them with each other, the journey is marked with unwavering commitment. Yo, Kieran's Ghost. So, let's push forward with the show where others would stumble and fail. And embrace all these little challenges. Our roles as architects of our own success mirrored here when we're trying to get this show together. So through dedication, diligence, we're going to shape our destiny amidst all the uncertainties of the market. Rocky's show recently checking in with the all-time highs across the major indices. Super interesting earnings coming up, all the different news on Bitcoin. Exciting stuff happening, and the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards fairness, those inspiring words. So it's not just about making money on this show, and as the hardcore know, it's about what you do with it that counts. And we're in search of justice and equality, and we're standing firm against uncertainty, not just in our own doubts, but we're being guided by principles of transparency and integrity on what we do here on the channel and how we interact with each other in the community. We rise above all the greed and exploitation, and we forge that path, a brighter future for all of us who share in this difficult journey. We are the masters of our own fate and the captains of our own souls. And that's a profound realization that all traders need to get over. We're fueled by determination and resilience, and will never ever stop. Through dark hours, fierce storms, we stand tall. And as we go forwards in these triumphs and witness the power of consistency and the fantastic transformation some of the traders here are making, remember, any step back is a stepping stone, and it takes you to greater heights. Every failure is a lesson learned, and you've paid that price, so learn it properly. Every success, a testament to our resolve, and every trader getting better fills me with more and more confidence. So tonight we'll reflect on everybody's week, the dedication, the hard work, the success and the failures, because it's not just me that's one of the world-class traders that stand here and help others. We've got lieutenants that are absolutely fucking brilliant, heroes of our age. And the rewards are not merely financial, not just for me, but for them and for you. And the bonds we forge with each other, they're so important because we are the only ones who understand the sacrifices that it took and the true meaning of the reward. So let's celebrate. I've got a little bit of celebrating, but that's it. The odyssey of perseverance and triumph will have to take me through on top of this. So, it's not just a bit of boozing, a little bit of knowledge. We are the architects of our own destiny. We are the master of our own fate, especially if we get to the shopping time. Together, fellow traders. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But with passion and purpose, I will drink it all. In the pursuit of greatness. And anyway, we're not just traders. Like I say, you guys, you're the heroes of your age. And the world is ours to conquer. And that chart there, that's Bitcoin. Tiny, teeny, teeny, itsy bitsy time frames. You want me to look at anything in particular? Just tell me.
Up and down this road I go, skipping and a dodging from a 44. Up and down this road I go, skipping and a dodging from a 44. Jack the rabbit, oh Jack the bear, won't you line it just one hair? Jack the rabbit, Jack the bear, won't you line it just one hair? Got a letter from a hag in town, he's saying Louis is burning down. Got a letter from a hag in town, East St. Louis is burning down. Up and down this road I go, skipping and a dodging from a 44. Up and down.
Turn the audio, turn up already. Get up there. Louder audio. Where is your audio at? Where are you? I could use this for the audio, then I might get a better deal. What are you doing? Mic. Properties. Device. What is this? Is this the same? This'll be the same. If anything, that'll be worse. Eh? Is it any better or any worse? That. Yo. I guess you'll just have to turn me up, and then you'll have to turn the audio down on the music, or else I'll have to remember to do that. And so you'll have to turn me up really, really, really loudly. BHI interest rate was up. That's interesting. I was looking at your BSD, but nothing happened out of the ordinary. Yeah, nothing happened. Just getting it crushed. Can you take a look at ACET total shit? Right, ACET, and then we can go back to Japan. Colin, hello, Colin. Jimmy, wondering if we can take a look at Ricey. You betcha. Been reading this one a long time. Have you? Well, you must have been doing well. Looks like it's just reached something. Looks like I just missed the end of that. I'll get back to that one. Cheers, Colin. Monthly. This thing. You know, I mean, like, I don't really, like, you could probably check these things, but, I mean, that could have bounced there. This could be trying to do something, sure, whatever, but it's a monthly and it's a downtrend. character to move that much, and typically it would be going down. When it is moving to the top side, right, it can take like that, right, that's that sort of trajectory, i.e. it takes that amount of time, and when it's going down, it's got that trajectory, right, so you look at the angular momentum, and this one, far more significant, so the fact that you add that to the lower highs and lower lows, so it's like going down in every measurable sense, and when it's going down, it's fucking flying down. That's not great, to be in a stock like that come with high opportunity cost, and it's putting in lower lows, lower highs. 4 hour, that's gash. 1 hour, that's double top, and it's reversing back down again. It's gash. Like, this is all like that only turned around because the RSI got to like unheard of lows, 15, that sort of thing. See, when you get an RSI like 15, anything below 20 is possibly at an oscillation low. At 15, it's like, fair enough, maybe all of the selling pressure is gone. Let's go back to this point here on the 27th of June and see what happened. Was that what that date was there? Okay, so this is the previous example of it, where you're thinking like the best thing about this bad news is that might be as bad as the bad news can get, in which case that's as good as the best news you're ever likely to get, because it means the selling pressure's gone. So you go back, check the last time you had a similar situation with RSI here, buried below the center of the earth, and price action had fallen off a cliff, got absolutely massacred, left a gap it never filled again, and even when it back up again, it put in extreme continuation divergence to get this is it trying to climb out of a hole, ripping off its arms in order to do it, and then having nothing left, even a stump of a shoulder to get on out of that hole, falling back in it again and getting crushed as the earth opened up beneath it. And it's like just happened over and over and over. Here's the best time on this thing, right, which was towards Christmas when nobody was fucking watching. This is awful. What are we looking at this thing for, sir? You paid me to look at this too. I wish I could say something good about it. I probably can. What can I say that's good about it? Let's just go and find something. It's so bad there. Oh jeez. Oh man, we have to go up again. So I could turn off the drawings. I mean, they're half the thing that's screaming at me how bad it is. We'll just go, I mean, market structure and all the momentum, everything's against you, and everything will be until such times as this thing's back above 278. It's already made 7.35% today, so one of the bigger movers today. It's in health tech, so gets a bit of buzz, and imagine they're trying to solve something important, in which case people would be interested. But it was very important for this thing to be back above 356. Even getting anywhere close to that would be magnificent, because it's going to get a kick in the face as soon as it gets to 270. If it did manage to get there, it would still then only really give it, like, that would be it coming up for a breath of air instead of immediately drowning. And if it managed to attain any level of buoyancy, you would say it would have to be back above 520, which again, anyone watching on from the sidelines trying to save this thing would be thinking, I'm not going to get over there in time to save it, it's going to drown. But they would look at it bobbing up and down and think, that's tragic, I mean, that's tragic. They would look at it and think, I should put it out of its misery, but I can't because it's drowning. And so, like, that's not quite the same ethical, like, it's not like putting down a wounded llama or something, is it? Because it's in the water, right? And we've got, that all changes everything, like this whole liquid. So anyway, yeah, the morality. What do? You just shoot it in the water, right? What if you miss it and you're shooting its leg and then you cause it to drown? I mean, how do you live with that, right? It's just not the same as shooting something that's sitting there flat. So I imagine. Anyway, downward sloping diagonal, horizontals. This is awful. Why are we talking about this? Try to find something good about it. Is there news or something? Bless your... It had earnings. That's what it was. A surprise. Not much. Oh, that's not very good. How do they have no revenue? How do you have no revenue? How do you do that? So, I don't know what we're looking for, these guys. Yeah, that's right. How do you have no revenue? That's right. It's biotech. That's how you have zero revenue. That's how you list a company and you've raised millions of dollars potentially. What's the market cap? 180 million bucks. Yeah. So what you do is you just make a biotech, schedule some fucking tests of some shit. It doesn't matter if they ever work out or not. That's not really the point, is it? I mean, we live in a capitalist society, right? We don't live in a society set up to create new medicines. That's certainly not. We live in a society, capitalist society. So the reason you set up a business is to make money. And in healthcare, you can make money by inventing something new. And then, not only do you have to invent the technology, but you have to create the application for it. You have to get that through all manner of testing, and you have to do that in such a way that it delivers financial return to you that would outweigh the benefit of just not even going to fucking university, just setting up a shitty company, scheduling some tests, because you just have to book them and pay, and then you're on the books, right? You're scheduled in for something, and then launch a company, list it, get the articles of association, memorandum, boom, flap it on, get a public listed company, get the accounting drawn up, boom. They'll all be paid. Get your listing fee, get on a shitty exchange, right? Alternative exchange somewhere, and boom, that's you done. Fantastic, right? Charge whatever you want. Like this is way more. This is way easier than setting up like an altcoin, and then. Right, you could just invent shit for ages. Like I'm going to solve this, and next shit. And if you put a compelling enough together case, you can be like the Thoros, Thanos, whatever, the chick that pretended she could do a blood test with like whatever it was, like by smelling you or something. Her, the genius, the one that's like the female Sam Bankman-Fried. So that chick. So don't we make heroes? See, it's funny, isn't it? They're not the heroes, but like the media would love you to believe those people are heroes. It's just insane the way that. Anyway, so that's getting me distracted. We were talking about this thing. It's a piece of shit, man. It's a piece of shit. If they launched in if I was to go and find out that they launched in between 2020 and 2023, then I'd probably never trust them, no matter what it was they ever said in future, even if they solved every possible thing. Like, what does it tell me here? No, I mean, I could go in their chart, obviously, and go, give me something before 20. It's been before that. It's actually been around for, but it's been around since, yeah. So, but let's face it, like, what if they've been around and they're biotech, how come since February, when is that? What year is that? 2018 or something? I think it goes back even further. So why is it since then they've not managed to do anything like profitable or have any revenue? Maybe they have revenue and that's details wrong, but how come they've not managed to do anything? I mean, they're not really doing anything. This is a terrible downtrend. So I don't know what we're looking at in terms of positive things there. I can't see there's anything super positive there. This is shelf technology. This is BDTX. This is a huge, brilliant opportunity. Big buckets. This is way better. So what you want to be looking at look at this higher high and whatnot. If it does come back down, there's areas of value, and be a discount to buy it there in an uptrend, right? Even if it comes back down and tests like 50% of this here. Look at that. That's clearly strength, right? Like that's strength. Like if that was a fucking logo on a company, and you were walking along the street and a bus drove past you and it had that sort of price action, right? And it was a logo and shit. You wouldn't even need to look at it, but you'd go to that company and you'd give them loads of money and you'd ask them for their products and services, and then they'd deliver them and they'd be excellent quality. And that's because just because of this shit. Some stuff is obvious, and that's one of them. So BDTX, it's a healthcare company, and if you go into the daily time frame there, look, it's up there. Targets are up there, still like 100% away from price action at the minute. So, well, you manage your risk, and there's like flash down at 3 and whatnot, and you gotta be careful. Like that's the ultimate place to be looking to. Managing an entry on this thing, spending time looking for that and whatnot, retracements. You're like not even trying to break this long term. Try and get up to those areas, right? So you get a test down here. You probably do likely put in a level of resistance here. If it's just to roll over at this point in time, that's what you'd be looking. Get away, brush. Where's the brush? I don't care about the layers. Brush. There you are. So so like we've done this already, but like you got that resistance point and you're at it again now. So if it does come back down again to this flash, hello, there's a flash there, right? If it does come back down to that and test what would be this golden pocket, which is very likely that'd be confluence. There's also all those other shit to talk about. But like, this isn't what you asked about. The point being that there's less area and there's this potential for you to manage risk here. There's diagonal, you want to be careful about the fact that you've just broken that, but the important horizontals are there. So you want to be managing risk just below these prior lows here. And that's if you get this really deep value entry, which I think could be fantastic. The truth is, it could potentially break to the top side, and if it does start making its way back above $7, then maybe you're on for that target at 9 change. And if it does break 9 change, right, who's to say that looks like it's going to come back up and test an 886? That's what that might do. Golden Pocket would be back up at around 13, 14. 886, that'd be up around $30. And if this thing gets to $30, that's brilliant. And what's better than that shit, right? Like, nothing apart from diamonds and Tradespotting, a rocky outcrop, our community. That's it. Like, what else? What else is as hard as that? Nothing else lasts as long as that. So that's what I'm thinking. And then Royce, R-Y-R-C. Just do R-R, right, instead of the look at this fucking awesome as shit trade. Holy fucking shit, by the way. Right, so this thing, we started talking about this opportunity in at around $30. Rocky Outcrop put me on it. I said this at the time, right? I said this at the time and plenty of times during it. Rocky Outcrop put me onto this trade, but Rocky doesn't boast about it. I don't know why. Anyway, it was $35, and Boris Johnson was saying something along the lines of, it doesn't matter how much fucking money they owe, we are obviously going to pay it because they're critical to our national defence. And he wasn't saying it like the way Trump was using it to impose steel tariffs. He was saying it like they're a fucking weapons manufacturer. They're a critical part of every part of the supply chain within it. They're like important to the logistics of it. Never mind, they own critical patents on shit. And they're world leading. And like, they've got a long cycle development. At least try to turn some of their products profitable takes decades. And they've just started doing it with like the hybrid ship engines and stuff. Like, that takes development cycle, and that stuff's like 8, 16, 24 years and stuff. So of course it costs a little bit of money, and who's got patience for that nowadays? And they need a government. Like, anyway, so it's Rolls Royce, and they don't even make cars. They make massive guns, bolts, like engines that go in boats, engines that go in planes. Most planes, they're all good planes. So anyway, it was dead obvious. So plus it was like guaranteed by the government. Like, they literally guaranteed it. They said, we'll guarantee the debt. Like, they gave the government like limited a guaranteed debt. No matter what happens, we'll back them up. Which they said quite explicitly, because they wanted the market to know that was what they didn't want to have to fucking pay endless amounts forever just because they promised to. The point was, in saying that it was going to happen, they wouldn't need to because they were serious, right? You understand? So that's why it kept going up. Anyway, you had this trade. Fucking hell. What are we going to talk about here? What was the resistance level? Shooken, you're right. It has. I mean, this is stupid explosion. If you're looking for it to get to this price, could well happen, right? What's going on in the world economy with regards to wars? Right? They're interesting things. And there's this obvious intersection between geopolitics and the world economy, and I think it's very pertinent that we focus as traders on what's going on with regards to Taiwan. It's obviously like a political issue when you start talking about certain aspects of other conflicts, and so I decided not to do it. So, and that's So here is price action turnaround coming up, testing a level of resistance. This is a fair value gap, managed to get back beyond there and then some. Like, that's really strong recovery here. Measured move I've got drawn out. I suspect that's what this guy is. Can I please have you measured move, please? No? Come on. Won't get me. I'll do a new one, sure. So this is an inverted head and shoulders at the bottom of a trend. So you're speaking about a reversal formation. And I hope you can hear me. And so if like that's your neckline, which it pretty obviously is, right? It's pretty obvious that is the neckline here. That's your liquidity, that's your breakout. And it does come back confluent with this prior high, bit extra. Is this logarithmic? It freaking better be. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the support and resistance level in the chart trumps like that line, that magic Tradespotting line, it's trumped by that. And then Boom, I'm getting a message on Discord. But how could that be happening? Because the TA would be better if we were sharing it publicly, wouldn't it? Because then other people could benefit, wouldn't it? That'd be better. Also, I'm doing a show on the YouTubes, so there's a chat box there. Yeah, silly Billy, yeah. So, don't be a silly Billy. So, get back in your box. So, look at this. This is inverted hijab, but that's the measured move. That's the resistance. Yeah, the risk profile has changed, man. Especially if you've been in this for a while. You don't want this anymore, right? The government can guarantee it for shit. That doesn't got anything to do with the fact that people don't want to buy it at this level, and people definitely would be happy selling it at this level. Like, anybody who bought it since 2010 will be delighted. I mean, that's the resistance level that it's like probably should test again at least. They're up 112% since 2010. So they're not in it anymore. Well, I mean, a lot of it is because it's dead money. Most of the money in the world belongs to people that are long dead. Anyway, again, get distracted. So you're talking about this thing, talking about resistance in Trump, support and resistance, Trump's the liquidity there you might be open for. Sure, if it's in an uptrend that's going on to these higher highs, that makes perfect sense. There's lots of different ways it makes sense. Not had 3 touches there yet, but like it probably will get him. And there's lots of different ways. You could also do this. Like that looks like 1.13, 1.14. I mean, that's like looks like it's on. That all of that could happen, but none of that's your trade, right? That's somebody who wants to buy this thing because they believe that Rolls-Royce engines, wide-body planes, transport for tourism is going to get huge. That it's so popular. Even like domestic transport are going to need wide-bodied planes, and they're all going to need 4 engines, all made by Rolls-Royce, probably the new super efficient, properly economical ones that run on hybrid fuel, of which their engines are more efficient and better at doing and last longer. So cost more up front, have got better margins for maintenance, and they're better for the customers all around, the ones that can afford it, right? Like you get what you pay for. That's true when it comes to top quality engineering. So Rolls-Royce, right, a lot of people believe it's going to go on up there, right, and it probably does go to like 1600 at some point, but that's not really the point I'm making right now. It's that every time it's got to these critical levels of resistance, it's come down and tested a level of support, until such times as it went through that level of resistance gain, that became support, and it needed a couple of tests through it, came up, came support, needed a couple of tests. This most recent one broke, and it could well be that this is at a level of long-term resistance and needs to come back and test that again. And it wouldn't be all that amazing if this thing did come back, test 170, and then go on, test 1000, then 1700. So somebody else's trade, definitely somebody else's trade. Resistance at those levels, come back, test this. There's like so many points of this trend that will need tested, like you could do it like this if you wanted, which isn't going to help you a weekly time frame. It's not necessarily going to help you with the trade, but it can help you outline your perspective. If this thing drops below 269, you could easily go for that test back around 165. It's just a 50% retracement. I was just talking about on BDTX, which like a 50% retracement here would be good. Be great value if it came back down, gave you an entry there and went onto the top side, and then it would be able to test these horizontal levels, intermittent ones along the way, and it still wouldn't have got back to, this is the point, it still wouldn't have got back to those levels. It would have been good. So that's one thing to be aware of. Oh shit, I've gone off the chart now, I have to go back to it. But there's one thing to be aware of. But it's also true to say that it's performed very strong. It's not yet above its previous high. That's the risk, right? The risk is that it hits any of these levels, which is just about done, probably has already. The risk is it hits that and then it comes back down and looks for support. If it is to break back above that, right, you could easily take it with a stop in profit, scale into position as it then comes back, pulls back, puts in positive momentum, and it's breaking it into new highs, and you could scale into a huge position on that, take not much risk. The capital invested in the trade could increase while your stop always was moving into profit, and you were only ever adding to the position, increasing your capital at risk, but without increasing your potential for actually losing any money, because you'd have your stop right next to it, right? So you can grow your position, scale in on pullbacks, and as time evolves, you could get a great position. You might say, why would I do that? I've already got one at the minute. It's like you wanted to, This isn't the starting point of that opportunity. That was back here when you were entering that trade. You know, this is a different risk profile entirely. If it does go on, you could scale into it, but that's a completely different consideration. I would be thinking about the origins of that trade, staying disciplined, and you don't trade your hopes and dreams. You know, you trade like charts and like support and resistance. That's the way to look at it. So that's the two. That's the two I remember. What did I miss then? What's the chat box saying? Thanks, Bait Buckets. That's appreciated. And then what was the other one? Did I miss another one, or was that Bait Buckets one? Now it's all gone. Where was it at? Where was it at, Sputter? That's not even showing up on the YouTube thing. There's Bait Buckets. How do I hit the like on that? Like. Well, I can't do it here. So, bam, bam, bam. Japan's biggest battle will be a drop in population from 125 million to 85 million. That will be a big battle. That'll be a huge battle. Wonder if it's going to actually work down to 85 million, because if there is a huge war with China, Japan aren't going to escape that. So, and it's not going to be their 80 to 120 year olds fighting in it either. So I wonder how that'll go. You know, Japan! Tradespotting got bathroom reverb on. If I turn that off, does that make it any less reverberation? Does that make it any less? May make it less loud though. I have a stop profit because I see it coming back for the time being. Good, sounds good, whatever that is. Did I just pop in and say hi? Hi! A few moments where there was an option last year. Yo! Desmond cheers. Not very good, Lamau. Not very good. Desmond Serrano, the Fed Reserve Panel discussion manager, saying she sees increased small, medium manufacturing suppliers consolidation and expects it to continue because they are bombing the power struggle. Fed Reserve Panel discussion members. Good on you. See, everybody, we've got Stu Concept here. He's checking out, like, Fed Reserve Panel. That's like the guys on the bench. He's there listening to what they're saying. Yo, I was here since Jammy. Yo, liquid vehicle. Yo! I lost 8K. Oh my god! Oh my god! How's that? Do you want to... I was emotional. It happens. Okay, we would certainly be emotional afterwards, that's for frickin' sure. I bet ya. I bet ya. What about Apple shares instead of Apple? I wish I bought Apple shares instead of every Apple product I bought over the years. Lol, oh my god, from my lel. Yeah. Damn frickin' right. Can you imagine? Like, anyway, I'm gonna catch up with what's happening. I don't know, maybe. Baby. Cheers, Dibs says. Yo, there's Jorta, you big Egypt. Similar boat, Colin. Thanks for asking. What boat are we on here? It's not a wee boats, is it? We've got a Prime Minister. He's dead against those wee boats. He keeps talking about it. So I imagine your boat needs to be over a certain size. Or else you'll just, you'll think you're like Michael Saylor, not even a real sailor. What else? You guys, eh? That's such a huge retrace. Yeah. You just do it upside down on that chart, and then you'd be like, "What? How did they do this? Markets are so manipulated, bro. Markets so manipulated. What's the upside down on Apple again? Like that? No. What's the command for? Anywho, like you can just imagine it. You don't need me to flip it upside down. You could turn your head upside down if you wanted, but like if that was the other way around, and because nobody cares about long side manipulation, right? They don't. Why would they? I mean, Kenny and his bros probably do, but like, I'm certainly not. I think there's definitely more important battles to fight, right? Probably. So, but if you were to flip that upside down, people would be like, "Oh, Brian, it's so manipulated, man. That's just a straight line. No way that can go that way, and that and whatever." But here it is going straight up like that. So if you were talking about that retrace, that's what it was. It was a retracement, very significant one, 100% retracement, nearly. So, but that's not what you're talking about. Not what you're talking about. Boom. Look at AMC. Just loves this $4 thing. I mean, that's the weekly time frame. Has it ever? I don't know if it's sure it's gone away and come back and whatnot. But it's very rarely does it sit at one price level for that amount of time. So the AMC people talking about this? They should be. Like, this is what they should be doing, but they're not, right? They should be saying that what's incredibly unusual about AMC is that for 10 weeks, that's fucking ages, right? for 10 weeks, it's been the same price. It's been the same price. I mean, it has had a range, a closing range of a whole 20% nearly. It's not actually, right? I'm exaggerating. It has had a range, but like it's been so small of a range for 10 weeks compared to like that's 5 weeks. In those 5 weeks, it went up nearly 800%. I mean, obviously things were going fucking crazy back then, but that's hardly the point. Like, it's had loads of moves all over the place a lot of the time, and none of them were that measly. So that'd be called a period of consolidation. Yo. So obviously the nature of it, it's not particularly nice there. Lower highs, lower lows. But it's interesting, isn't it? Nobody even asked. That's top information, right? That is top information. You know, because it means that they've got low volatility. Right? And what comes behind low volatility? What comes just behind that, right? What comes just behind that? A big fucking elephant comes just behind that and it's pooing everywhere. So you got, big pooing elephant. The big pooing elephant coming on AMC. Everyone, if you're a serious trader, it's high volatility. High volatility is what comes after it. Nvidia, right? So people love to argue with Nvidia, like they really do love to argue with Nvidia, and that's because it's at some point it's going to fall over because it's potentially in a bubble. Is it in a bubble though? See, this is a question. It's very dodgy at various different times, but it's pushing on to higher highs. The question is it going to get to $1,000 and break the fucking stock market? Is it going to fall down here? No, don't be silly, right? It's nearly at $1,000. Daily, where's the daily? What's it telling us? It's like, just don't argue with me, is what it's saying. And you would have to say, okay, I won't argue with you. What's this saying? It's saying, don't argue with me. And that's saying, that doesn't entertain arguments either. 4 hour. I mean, you've got extremely obvious divergence here. It's extremely obvious. It's extremely obvious, and you've got a lot of it. Fucking hell. Pardon me. And you got this obvious gap, and Nvidia doesn't particularly like gaps. There's another huge one. Oh my god, that's so far away, that one. I forgot about this. Is the drawings off or something? Yes, they are. Right, so get back over here, yo. Ugh. Go away, all the indicators. Go away, you silly indicators. Right, so he's got his black jacket on again. It just slaps of innovation, that jacket. It's the collar on it or something. I mean, there's no way that actually closes and is comfortable. You just look at it. But looks cool as shit, innit? And he only wheels it out for these things, and usually Anywho, so that's your boy Huang, and this thing, this is at resistance again, and we have to turn these things on again, and again it's still divergent, and it puts in a potential swing failure. It needed to fall down, and it would need to fall down to significant levels in a sharp way, which means getting in on a short at this level is difficult. Go away, drawings, you so annoying, drawings. Right, not drawings, pictures. Look, Huang. That's all. I'm keeping that picture because it's quite a good wall. You're going and your stupid logo. Right, so this was talking about this great 3618. That was the idea, and it got very close. But that was the idea. It was a 3618, and it's very close. Anywho, so delete that. Go away. Right, so the point we were trying to make here was, I can't remember anymore. The divergence. Yeah, I needed to get this up. Swale your swing, and then I wanted to see where I would expect this to break. 880. I'd be careful at it below 880. I would very much be careful at it if it slips below 880, because you've got your gap at 830, your gap at 730, and this thing is in this diagonal trying to the top side. Here come the drawings. They got that diagonal. If that breaks, I mean, you've clearly got no horizontals to look to. 4 hour time frame in that. Weekly. Well, we'll go there in a second. I mean, it's all you've got is like in with regards to important structural levels. This is impulse moves where it pushed higher again. So if it starts breaking 2 of them, it'll break all of them. So I mean, what you probably want to do is put on like the parabolic SER or the Donchian channels and have it on like it's just even that's difficult, right? Because the nature of that trend, but something like that. And if you're already in it, just keep holding it. That's all there is to do there. Because you're right, it's going up really high. But nobody even asked me about that. But well, it's irrational. No, it's not necessarily because their earnings. The earnings do just keep fucking getting bigger and bigger, and the multiple on this thing isn't all that unjustified for the growth narrative that goes along with it. And they did just release that BP chip. It's flying. And they're going to totally capture even more market share. I don't know, I think they could just keep going, Obviously, there's, again, this potential fucking war, 2027. And that'll have an impact if it happens. If China do that, they're so fucking stupid, it's unbelievable, They're so stupid, it's so stupid. At any other potential time there was a world war, there was an argument that other side could have won. But if they're starting to look at so fucked, it's so stupid, it makes no sense. So it must be that they're lying to themselves, it must be. But then Russia are lying to themselves so badly right now, and they're on the brink of going completely tits up. I don't know how long they've got. I'd measure it in months, for the whole fucking thing. Especially if America's, Anyway, it gets a bit political again, so I'll just skip that. So what else? Where's the chat box? What are you guys saying? Evo, do you mean broker? I think you mean broker. Maybe. Get into crypto, yo. Crypto exchanges directly. Yeah, I want to get back to the crypto. What did you do, Bitcoin, in that amount of time? Where are you? Where are you, Bitcoin? I mean, it's right there. Where is it? Eh? What was it doing beforehand? When did we draw that line? I can't remember. Anyway, that's great news, right? That's great news. You don't want it to break below that, because if it does, it probably comes down here. Is that what it was like at the time? That's probably what it was. This will be, yeah. Reversal, continuation break. That's going to the top side, that one. But yeah, it's a 236 at the same level, and there's a golden pocket. It comes back below that, yeah. What's that, 786? There's a flash. Oh my goodness gracious me, it's happening. It's happening, folks. The strength of trend, oh my god, it's gonna be exactly what we said, folks. It's gonna do it down here. Oatley now, what are you doing with regards to crap, man? It's crap. It's been doing crap recently, yeah, that's right. We were here on the floor, as I was skirting through, it's this downward sloping diagonal breakout idea is wonderful. But you had this zone here it needed to get through, because that was a fake out, because it tested once and came away from that, so obviously it needed to break through that. And the reason that was the level it got to and no further is because the resistance previously, which is over here and over here, and still obviously prescient. Price action there was fucking brilliant. What's that? That huge gap then. Oh, good idea. Good one. Leave a big massive gap. The 886 closing of the gap. Where's your 236? There. Really, really close. But that's obviously a potential. It's just that it's dangerous, Overall, that looks like, I was going to check something in a second, but overall, I'm not going to say that that's bad. It's not bad. It's not bad, It's not bad, It's just these sort of things, right? After it's done that, we'll check in again in a minute for some harmonic resonance, but you'd be looking to it to do something like that, potentially, before getting the full recovery of what is that, right? Before you get the full recovery of what that actually is. You usually would do something like that, and that doesn't sound very technical, does it? But it's Friday, and then so now it makes sense. I mean, you've seen that before now, haven't you? See the way I did that? I'm fucking magic, and I can't be bothered explaining it either. So fucking there you go. And what was the question anyway? Whoops, you get back in your box as well. Go back in your box. What was the question? Did I see something? Imagine you bought Milne at $1. They split at 125 and then one at 9. Poor Milne. They're the ones. Where are they? Oh shit, did I just draw? Mullinens and the Mullinet. There's a couple of opportunities on this because it's been so freaking volatile, but holy shit, look at that, by the way. Oh my god. Oh, look at all the splits. Oh, and I hate it when they do this. They ruin all my stuff. Look how neat that shit was and everything. See, because I do hate it when they do that. You know, I can probably select all drawings and then move them all at once. I just can't remember how to do that right now. And it's a bit annoying because, you know, I do share all these charts up with my Patreon people. So you get saved down a link and you get all my charts on your thing. So you can see all the drawings all the time. And then when they go and do a split like that, it makes it a mess. And I don't like it being a mess for my Patreon. Anyway, I've looked at that list and I'm bored of looking at it. Now I want to look at crypto. I'm so bored of looking at like fucking... See, you know, I can tell why people get sucked into biotech, right? It's because they see things going on in crypto and they're like, nah, you know, and the best thing they've got going for them is fucking Nvidia, which will go up like 2% and they'll be creaming their pants. No joke. They do. I've sat next to them and I know that's what's happening. And it's like, actually, come on, guys. That happened like 8 times during the speed of this sentence. What the fuck is that shit, by the way? Don't know, but I wouldn't pay for it. So, yeah, I need to get back to the chat box for the inspirations. No Tradesploshing. The biggest opportunity with milling is to burn money, but you get less heat out of it than using a fire to burn it, but your house is safer. And they won't get sore fingers. Well, you know, it's funny, right? Because see what happens, right? What you've done there is you've pointed out that the stock's shit and you've gone into the fundamentals for as much as it's worth bothering to. But see, other people, right, they get obsessed with it because this is the thing with being contrarian, right? They want to buy something that's at lows because the idea is, right, that this is Rocky knows this, obviously. The idea is that if something's at lows, right, then it's probably close to, like, this is actually what they're thinking. It's gone down so much, right, that it's like this cartoonish. It's gone down so much that it must be now close to the ground, right? It must be close to the ground because it's gone down so much. Whereas, see that shit that's gone up, right? It's really, really high up in the air. So if it goes down, oh, that's terrible, right? Because it's so high up, so it'd be terrible. Whereas, see, this stuff, it's nearly at the ground already. So if it's to fall over, you know, you wouldn't even break a fingernail. That's what they think. So they buy the shit that's going down. That's what happens, right? And then what happens is next is it goes down some more, right? Which is obviously completely unacceptable to somebody who's paranoid schizophrenic. Of course it's not going down. Of course what's actually happening is it's not moving. Just the rest of the world is going up. And that's because there's, in those people's mind, right, despite it being GameStop's idiosyncratic risk that was identified by the SEC as such and is the feature of all the investigations, and they don't talk about any other ones, right? They'll think that actually the same thing is happening with every single stock they buy. Every single stock they buy. And it's in the region of about 50 of them. Or maybe even 500 of them. Fuck knows. If they've been in this for a few years, it might be thousands, right? And every single one of them, you know, it's messed up shit. And can you imagine the collateral that would take? Well, of course, it's the entire universe, right? It's the universe, which is, but like, of course it is, right? There's, you know, like, that's a theory of reincarnation and all the rest of it. Like that's just, it just doesn't explain. You have to add in aliens, in fact, to get it. So that's the way it works. That's it. And you'll see it. It's all fucking over Twitter. It's all over Twitter. It's insane. It's all over Twitter. It's insane. And it's like, you could just be buying and selling cryptocurrency. You could just be buying cryptocurrency. And, you know, at the minute, you do a whole lot less selling than buying. And you could be still making money. You know, like, it's in an uptrend, eh? So you can constantly take profit and not necessarily have a lower position if you're just patient. You know, it's so like a lower position, sure, but you mean in terms of dollar value, right? It's going up. Like, I mean, that's just a relative improvement in your life and whatnot. That's all brilliant. You can do all that dead easy because it's an uptrend. It's been in a fucking uptrend for months and months and months, right? As has all these stocks as well, but they're obsessed with buying stocks at lows. That's exclusively what they do. Also, like, what's the fucking point in spending your life complaining about the like, here, look. Like, there's one particular guy who talks shit all the time. I can't fucking stand it. And he was talking about that car company Fisker or whatever, right? After your dude Brownlee did the video saying this is Fisker car's a piece of fucking shit. The stock price tanked, right? And the people who run the company were aware of this video, right? I'm aware of it and I couldn't give a fucking shit. And the people who run the company are aware of it, right? And they're aware it's going to have long-term implications for them. And they know that the only way they can raise money, if not selling cars, is by selling stock. So they immediately started selling stock, right? And then this dude was like, oh my God, like blah, 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 blah. You know, this is not ethical. How can they be doing this? You know, the price is dropping and whatnot, and that's awful and something. And it's like, man, you know, you don't own the fucking company. You don't own the fucking company. The fact that you're even able to buy any of the company, which I don't fucking think you did, but if you did, more fool you. The only reason you're able to do that is because they're listed as a public company, right? And the reason companies do that isn't so that they can have their cake and eat it too, like Groupon. It might be, right? But ostensibly, it's all the same thing. They're trying to raise money from the markets. That's what they're there for, right? They're not there because they decided to be benevolent and start paying dividends. They couldn't find some from friends and family. They just didn't know enough good people. And they thought, well, fuck it, I'll open this door to the stock market and I'll give my profit to whoever the fuck's in there. That's not what's happening. What's happening is they need money. Every company on the stock market is on that stock market because they needed to raise finance. And the guy that was running the company was a private company. He wasn't going to give them it anymore. And they wanted your money. Right? So you invest in companies that aren't constantly going down, because the reason they want your money, if it's constantly going down, is so that they don't do the fucking work to create capital expansion with the money that's already there, which is another fucking point, which means like, how are they, you know, and it's also true to say that a lot of people are just fucking incompetent, so they run their businesses into the ground by accident. And then it's also true to say that a lot of businesses, you know, the people have taken it as far as they can, and part of the value inherent is the business, is the founder or the people, the CEO and the top exceptional board members, and they themselves are going to retire, and the actual inherent value in that business, that intrinsic value, is partly like the strength of that people's personality, their connections and the way they run shit. And like, it doesn't take you don't have to be Boston Consulting Group to say that, well, that guy's son's a fucking tube and he's going to run the business into the ground. The guy who's currently like vice chairman of it has been like getting like selling us fucking stock for months on the basis that we're borrowing off him. He knows it's going down. We're going to like, and he's got a swap, and we're going to just get shitloads of money. And he's been selling us it because he knows it's going down. It's not like insider trading because, you know, it's just taking a loan based on the price of this thing potentially dropping in future, which is obviously signaling the bank what's going. And if you don't understand what I've been saying there, then you're not watching enough of Rocky Outcrop. And so you don't, like I say, you don't have to be fucking Boston Consulting Group, right? Loads of fucking companies go down. Most, in fact, literally all of them on a long enough timeline will. So, you know, you can't fucking look around everywhere and say that's Kenny. It isn't all Kenny, right? It isn't. It's stupid. It's stupid, and it does this after a while. It does take away from that point, right? Which is really fucking annoying. It's really fucking annoying. Not because I give a shit about the value of the stock of any one particular company over another. And I certainly don't think that the government should intervene on behalf of one singular fucking company, or onto just one stock. I think that's a stupid idea too. You know, if you're intervening on behalf of one company, you're intervening on behalf of all of them. These are rules you're putting in place. You're not just actually, oh, look at that, we'll reverse that decision, or we'll do this one little thing to make it easier for these guys, or we'll give those guys a yellow card. No, you fucking fix the systematic problems. Like, right, you know. Also, everyone's fucking illiterate. You know, they're absolutely illiterate, and it pisses me off no end. Like, people don't even seem to give a fucking shit what the word idiosyncratic means. They think, right? They think it means this stuff's fucking absolute kryptonite. The word, they think the word. I'm speaking here, like, pause, bear with me, right? Don't get an emotional reaction till you've heard my full sentence. They think the word idiosyncratic means this stock is fucking kryptonite. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It means that the stock behaves in irrational ways. That's about it. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else, right? That it doesn't conform to their system of understanding. That's all that fucking means. It doesn't mean that if you touch it, you melt. It doesn't mean that. The point of the word, the point of interest is that they're using that word, right, idiosyncratic, because they can't use the word shorted more than 100%. That's like, and irrecoverably, right? So they can't say that. Just the same way, the British government, when Rolls-Royce owed money, couldn't say, well, fuck, maybe we'll help them if they get in trouble. Because then they'll get in trouble immediately. Instead, they're like, yes, we're going to help them no matter what. Doesn't matter. In which case, everyone fucking was like, well, nah, they're going to help them no matter what. I'm not fucking interested. You know, so, Anyway, fuck's sake, eh? It's just so stupid. Like, also, who gives a fucking shit about an electronic vehicle company? I mean, seriously, to fucking God, you're going to get behind that. You're going to get behind that. That's the fucking point. Like, from a ethical investing standpoint, like, seriously, like, fuck off, eh? Anywho, don't think about it again. That's good advice. I wear my Bing Bong shirt as trousers. That's a good idea. Oh my God. And do you wear your Bing Bong? Do you have a pair of Bing Bong pants? They're make an amazing hat. So this is it, right? It's good that it's an idiosyncratic risk. It's the only one that is. And that's not to say that there weren't other stocks that were heavily shorted. There were. But there was a distinct difference in the nature of those. And anyway, I can't be fucking bothered talking about it any longer, eh? Who gives a flying shit? It's so obvious. Like, if you don't know by now, and stuff like that, and that sort of conversation, and yada yada, and speak like an old man. I'm out on the porch and something. So, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Also, hello, can you still hear me? Hi, you love me since it's go 33 months. It's fucking true. Thank you. Also, there's people that are like, oh my God, private equity. Oh my God, private equity. It's like, fair enough, right? You need to give your enemy an outline and all that, right? You do, and it's healthy in that sense. But also, what is private equity? Well, I mean, the definition of the term is money that's not invested in public markets. It's money, not just, money that you don't have oversight of, but it's typically, you would be considered money that's not invested in public markets. Obviously because of the rise of hedge funds, they invest in all this private wealth, then there is this, blurring of the lines when it comes to terminology. And that particularly infects stupid as fuck people. And they make it their entire life is to focus on private equity. Well, I'll tell you what, you absolute fucking Mongol. You acquire any significant level of wealth. When you start investing in a specific way, you'll get particular tax breaks if you too become private equity. And it's only a natural consequence that you would do that, because why would you pay extra tax for the same thing that other people are doing for less? That would be fucking stupid. And so, and then it's like, okay, honestly, what you actually want to focus on is yourself and the people that you can make a difference with in little ways. And so that's what you get. And the same people that do that sort of thing, they're so narrow-minded and stupid that they've got no conceptualization of how other people see them. It's all entirely about how they say themselves. And like, fuck it, it's embarrassing as shit. And when they come on my channel and leave comments or try to make response videos to the stuff I'm saying, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? We both know, and everybody among both our audiences know, you didn't understand fuck all that was going on in my video. You didn't understand a fucking word of it, because you're a stupid fucking tool, and that's high quality shit, mate. So, hey, and you get these people and they come like, oh, dude, I want to be part of his conversation. It's like, now you've got your own stupid fucking conversation. Fuck over there and have that stupid fucking conversation you have every day with your wife, as if she would put up with that. With those people in your audience that are stupid enough to still be watching you, you have that same repetitive bullshit with them. Hey, because you'd have to. Also, I saw this other bullshit video of this guy, right? And he's in his fucking car and he's driving home, right? Which he does all the time in his car driving home, right? He's like always driving somewhere, but he's actually obviously got nowhere to go, right? He's got nowhere to go. He's the sort of person that decades before it was possible, like, there any fun in the idea of like actually, like, what in the wet fuck is going on with that mattress print? It's so embarrassing, jeez. And he was like, what was he saying? Like, oh, some people won't understand what happened with the NFT store and they'll be disappointed. And that's because you guys don't know about investing. And I was like, wait a minute, man. I'm getting flashbacks to you telling me and everybody else, like, he was on my show in my chat box where I was fucking ignoring him because it was so awfully stupid. And he was saying the GameStop NFT marketplace is going to be bigger than the Apple App Store. And he kept fucking saying it in that chat box you're in now. Right? He kept fucking saying it. And then now this video gets shown to me by YouTube. Like, I don't want to see it. You're showing me YouTube. Like, hey, you like not understand, you know, but the NFT marketplace, it was never going to be the... It's like, serious to God, do you believe the shit's coming out of your mouth? Like, oh my God, I'm so... Honestly, it's like, that's what the news is now. That and people DRSing their shares. Because, like, the DD folks, what's that? The DD folks were obsessed with saying, like, don't look at the line, don't look at price action, duh, and all this other bollocks. And that, right, which, that obviously time proves them wrong. You know, like, anyway. And that, it's a shame too, because the cognitive dissonance fucks it off, and it takes people out of the team when it didn't need to. But because they can't handle their own expectations, you know, they can't handle their own expectations because they attach their fucking identity to stuff that isn't really them, right? Because they need, you know, it's just like, fuck off already with these fake twats and all the stupid scams and all the bollocks they're up to. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about this shit anymore. Why is Moan? It's causing Moan. I'm infected by Moan. Hey, that's what it is. Right, I have to change that. We wanted to look at Bitcoin anyway, didn't we? What are you doing, Bitcoin? You're pushing up a bit more there, aren't you? Hey. Alrighty, Bitcoin. See, it moves all the time. There. Yay. It's moving all the time. And that's a couple $100. Oh my God, a couple $100. Sideways price action there. I suppose we could get up to momentum, couldn't we? Touching the bullish side of this top half of the oscillator. That's good. If it could spend the odd moment up in here in the bullish control zone and not be divergent, that'd be even better. But you're on the 1 minute time frame, so what are you really talking about? There's a trend line there I don't like. Oh no, trend line he doesn't like, but there's loads of bullish divergence there. Look, this is on the 15 minute time frame, innit? Right? It's pretty obvious that that's a higher low than this guy, and this is a lower low than this guy, which means that when people were selling it down there, you know, selling it down there, boom, that was it. And the people that were buying it up here, buying it up here, buying it up here, had a bigger impact. Anyway, so the buys here had a bigger impact than the buys here, which suggests that the strength in the pushing it down is gone, which is why its price is now rising to the upside. But like, it needs to break important levels in at around 64 is what it needs to get back above. Should it do that, you'd be targeting 64.8. Should it get back above there, then you'd be looking in at around 66, and then you'd get your flash target. But at that minute, you know, it's downward sloping diagonal that's pissing me off there, not just the one on the RSI that comes across with free touches, as you can see now, and price action consolidating, which means that it's not necessarily going to break through this short-term level of resistance right now because it's in a period of consolidation. And we've also got this trend line with free touches on it, which you can see would be confluent with price action touching up around the golden pocket at 65 already, and it isn't quite there yet. So, you know, if it was asking for a good sign, right, you were cozying up to price action because in a few minutes time you planned on asking it like for a date or whatever the precursor is to what you'd actually be thinking. Right? You like, yo, you want to go on a date, or like, can we skip that part of it? Whatever, because you're getting up there, and what happens is, it's like gives you like the cold shoulder and that, and you're like, well, skip that idea. That's what it is. That's what it's doing. So you want to be making sure it doesn't do that. It goes up higher in it, Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Or the guy's just going to dance on the edge of is to stand on the edge of the dance floor with his drink, pretending he's dancing. Ha, Bitcoin! You make giving me these interesting stories, Bitcoin. It's brilliant. You make it's great. Hey, this show here, value for money in the show. It's amazing. What about that? 63.7. Hello, Spotted. 55 viewers. Wow, that's the most I've had all fucking year. Dirty Jets, 28 months, bing the bondies. Yo, says become a member, but it's just a message. That's what it was. So I missed a message from Kieran at the time. Fucking hell, Spada. Dirty J's. Oh, look, I've got them here. Rich, 28 months. Smoke machine, disco lights, and puppets. That's all coming back eventually. Eventually. Joe, Kimmy, yo. King Jamie, always great when I pop in. Great to see you. Cece's Ghost. And then we had Colin, Bait Buckets, and Flasher an hour ago. Is that right? An hour ago, boom. A quick look at boom. There's nothing there to look at, but I would like any pointers you may have had besides prayer when trading something with not much there. Ha! Holy shit, that was amazing. That was amazing. How did you come up with those lyrics? You just that stuff that I'm drinking is absolutely fucking disgusting. 3 minutes. Well, just calm down here. Calm down, we'll get a picture of. So did we looked at something that looked exactly like this earlier. At some point today. I look at so much, I have no idea what it is though. I'm gonna come back to this, wait 2 seconds. I've had a brilliant idea. Wow, do I still get the mic even though the music is up? I do, don't I? So we're gonna get on to Boom, B-O-M-E-U-S-D-T.
Dug him down.
It has just started, there's not very much to look to. If it does break above its all-time high, who knows, maybe it goes fucking bonkers. Looks like there's huge range on it at the minute. Just to finish up that previous conversation I was having about fuckwits and all their fucking hang-along twat faces. Dibbity beep beep beep. Just to finish up that conversation, yeah. So a lot of people would like to ostracize me or us or anybody else who has, you know, any sort of opinion that conflicts with theirs with regards to GameStop. Everyone who's ever had a problem with me and my opinion on it can go and fuck themselves. Got zero fucking respect for them at all. Any of them, man. Not a fucking one of them.
I feel your breath around me now, I'm not discreet.
What were we talking about anyway? Boom, yeah, boom. Right, boom. So what do you do when you've not... So... Yeah, I don't like, so yeah, what am I thinking about here? Like, so you've got to look to market structure, that's your first hint, and no matter what form of technical analysis you're doing, if leading with price action first is a good way of doing it, you know, obviously price action takes priority, that's one way of looking at it, if you like your peas. If you like your peas, I love peas, but I'm prevented by having peas. So here's the high and the low, and you've got one Fibonacci to rule them all. You could possibly look at, not yet real fibs like that guy. I mean, it does lit below a 236, hold a 382, but like there's no confirmation that this is like actually a top. It's an oscillation high, in which case you could take it from any lows within this and have as much validity as this low until such times as it proves itself as a high within this leg of the trend, which it hasn't done yet. In terms of how much of a movement it's made, back above the 50%, but didn't get the golden pocket. So this guy, the one fib to rule them all, doesn't actually trump support and resistance, price action. So that's like, again, not fantastic, I mean, perhaps you would take a rough level like Chardonnay flasher and you'd say, well, this is a 50% line somewhere in around here. That's important. The golden pocket would close in around there, and I know some people would take profit. And like, if it does manage to make it like towards here at this level or the previous high, then I'd want to consider the risk at that stage as being very different from everywhere below, and I'd have to want to take a trade from here to keep holding any position I currently had. You see what I'm saying? So the origin and genesis for the trade may have changed, but I'd need to have another one to end up going long from here, topside targets. At the minute I'd be thinking, well, that's a good place to take profit, so is this, and definitely so is this, if I was trading it with the idea that it was going to go back up and test those levels, if that was the idea. But a 30-minute time frame, all you've really got there is the fib. You've got to go with market structure. Got to go with market structure, and you've got to go with trend here, and the trend is one of the ways you might define that is trend lines. There's one, it's had 3 touches there and a number until it broke, and then you've got this one, which is, has it got free? I mean, you can't really be using anything, like people might ask me like, where does the trend line begin, spotter, right? Because I could draw this trend line from fucking back here in the time of Noah's Ark, etc., etc. And it's like, well, whoop-de-doop-de, but there's other trend lines that take prescient, much more prescient. And so when you're going to begin this trend line that's currently relevant to price action, presumably it's not going to be a huge part of previous price action, which had its own defining trend line and whatnot. And it's quite clear now, right? So what do you not understand about that? So here's these 3 touches, and well, that was hard. Actually, they're not real. That's all a load of shit. You may be looking at that and like, why are you taking that one instead of that one? And it's not happening. It really isn't. So you might be looking at this and think, well, it wouldn't be all that surprising if it got a 3rd touch somewhere up there, because it's definitely true to say that it's got 3 touches and higher lows on the low, and it's got higher highs. So another higher high, that's not all that crazy. Maybe that, right? Maybe that, but like this is an extreme low, and this low, it's a little bit out of, picture with that, like with potential previous lows. Like I could draw that more accurate. See, it's a little bit weird that this is so different, nor does it perform to, you have to be looking at this as a channel, and quite frankly, what the fuck, like a channel just immediately forms at the very beginning of price action downside. No, that was the evolution of traders getting to know each other. Price action fell below this low, at which point, you're going to be using that for, you can't even use that fucking low in this previous trend, so you're certainly not using it in this start moving to the top side, right? Because it's fucking lower low, so you can't be using it as that, right? But know what I'm saying, right? So get a town with that idea. So you'd be looking at this thinking, is this channel? No, it isn't a fucking channel. You could draw it on there, make it look like that, but that doesn't mean that's what's going on. It isn't. So you need to be looking at this to get a 3rd touch on the top side to make it real. And whatever that is actually probably nothing to do with a stupid made-up diagonal that we can't even decide upon in a 30-minute time frame. It's much more likely these horizontals over here. And what have you got to go on? Well, we've got that fib, but we already identified that it was a piece of shit. So we're going to be looking at this in terms of support and resistance. And really then, your resistance level, there's a resistance level, because you're talking about it moving to the top side. There's another resistance level somewhere in around there. And then there's another resistance, so that's what you're going with, because you've not got anything else, and even if you did, it'd be hard pushed to find something better than that. So that's what you're talking about. And then with regards to support, well, you can do the same thing underneath, but you would have to be sure that you were doing it from the upside. And this isn't an uptrend yet on 30 minutes. On 15 minutes, maybe you're saying like, this leg of the trend, you've got enough going on to define it as an uptrend. You have got 3 touches to the bottom, not necessarily in a linear fashion with all trend lines, but you've got higher lows, you've got higher highs. Again, not necessarily touching 3 in a linear trend in any way that defines a chart pattern that we can then use to apply risk management to, but it does have higher highs. So I mean, at this stage it's an uptrend. It has to prove itself though. And has it faced any significant levels of support? Well, one way of defining that, and how long has it been around? Hourly, where's the important levels on the hourly? Right, well again, the linear trend lines don't matter. So like you can draw them like this, you could draw them like that, right? You could draw them up your nose, doesn't really matter when we've already identified that they're ambiguous, they've got lacking utility, that they don't provide any helpful risk management, they're not defining any chart patterns, right? They're actually only useful for scoping out the fact that this leg of the trend here, right? This leg here is distinctly different from this leg here, which we already did by describing higher lows and lower highs and whatnot. Anywho, so it's changed. So what we're really focusing on when your diagonals aren't important, that's the horizontals. What are horizontals? Well, it's these ones here. We've got a rocky outcrop flash. That's pretty nifty. Before that was the break, you'd probably be looking at this guy. I was a little bit ambiguous when I first glanced at it, but then if you go back, it's obviously a level here. So there you go, there's the ambiguity gone. That's the first level it needs to hold. Obviously, there's a diagonal, like we said, not all that fucking important. And then if that breaks, you know, there's rocky outcrop flash there, we put it in, but it's really important that it holds that level. And then if it doesn't, you know, you've got this low. But if it gets back to this low, without having tried even this high, at 0.019 to 0.019 something, if it doesn't even get back to test there before it's coming back to test this guy, that would speak to inherent weakness. So what you do is you watch price action evolve and you create a theory for what's going to go down. You work out the worst possible scenario on the chart, you work out the best possible trade, which are very similar, right? Where one ends, the other begins. And then you'd be looking to work into that and what would disprove that and what would come up and make it so that that was impossible. And then you look it down through the time frames in order to, you know, say where's the integrity here and more fidelity of this trend, what's important with regards to support and resistance on higher time frames, and when do I see it being tested on these lower ones. And you have to wait for price action to do something to give you an opportunity. You know, there is no magic thing that you can wrap around something just because it's new and make it somehow better. It's new, and like a new market participant could come in, have an agenda and trade with enough size that it would affect the fucking culture of price, and it would change immediately because that's how culture works, right? Get with it, people. Change is fucking real. And then you'd be looking at this thinking, is it gonna do that? And it will, until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it'll either fucking probably just go straight to that top side or straight back down again until such times as it tests significant. Like, it's only been around since when? I saw you made a massive gain on this earlier. It's been around since Saturday, right? So I mean, if I had a better chart pattern or something interest on it, I'd put something interest on it. I mean, like what it's done so far in its tiny microcosm of its life was move to the top side and have an 886 retracement. That was the idea. That's what it got, 886 retracement. Since that's happened, it's not managed to get back above its own 382 on that same move, which is very similar to what happens when you're looking for this recovery and it hasn't yet made it back above a golden pocket. So, like, there you go, that's what always happens on those moves, and at this point it has to go through what is now ranging price action, and this is what it's like super experience here. You guys, it goes to go through this fucking range here. So what it has to do is to go through this range until such times as the people that are consolidating in order to, you know, whatever agenda, they do it. And boom, Tether, US, Binance, like where was it before? I mean, we'll check it somewhere else and you get long-term price history, maybe you get more interested information. I suppose its volume on Binance trumps where it's been elsewhere, but still interesting. What else has it been on? Boom, 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 USDT, where? BitGet, maybe. Gate, they probably had it for a while. Ugh, that looks rank there. Daily. So it's been on Binance for a while, and that hasn't managed to push it back up to these important levels. It has been around since 2022, is it? I'm guessing that is. Maybe it's the start of 23. Anyway, so that's the downtrend. So it doesn't look as exciting here. That's not real. That might be. In which case you're looking at this horizontal. And then that horizontal, which you might give then actually you could then potentially, you know, there's your 236, that's 50% retracement. I mean, that's probably what something like it would go for in order to test this trend. You've got your important horizontals here coming in at around 0.0011, and then your 50% retracement on that is probably in at around, like, that's an important horizontal too, so it's in around 0.44. So that's what you can do. You can go other time frames, or sorry, other exchanges which have got a longer history on it, and then get a picture of what's going on. But this would represent the support and resistance, the liquidity on that particular exchange. Is that going to be used as the same signaling mechanism that other traders are looking at? Well, I mean, potentially. You know, it's all about managing your risk. really what you'd be doing is looking at like tiny time frames like this, and you'd be like looking at like the Rocky Outcrop toolkit there, and you'd put on a particular type of profile on it. You'd go for something like, you probably want divergence, but you would just spot it yourself. If you're B, you just spot it, but you probably want that on, and then you don't need those. Maybe you do if you put on really short term ones, and they put on exponentials. That'd be a good idea. You'd have that on because, you know, if it's going to be like trading this thing and it itself has only been around for a matter of weeks, then you probably only want to be holding the trades for a matter of minutes if possible. I mean, maybe you want these on, these would help. And then, I mean, that's pretty good already. And then you could probably have on, as you know, this is what I'm talking about with regards to divergence. You could turn on so many of these little signals, right? You can wait for all of them. It's all about really adding on all loads of millions of different signals. It's about getting a thing that suits the strategy you're trying to do. So, you know, maybe if I could be bothered going through it, right, I'd put on the Bollinger Bands. I'd put on exponential moving out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sometimes I shock myself with how good the explanations are. So you're looking at for periods of volatility. Yo! You know what indicators do that, don't you? Of course you do, because you're taking a course, flasher. So what a brilliant, that was brilliant. You got great value there. In terms of targets, I think I probably even talked about them, but that wasn't my intention. Oh wow, it was great, wasn't it? It was. What else did I miss out on? Has anyone used AI chat to write any tools for TradingView? I had not, no. They have not me, no I've not, but does it use it to do it for them? I suppose you mean use it to take care of the code part. I have not found any success with this yet, Sir Grace Foundation. I would like to be able to do it, but the darn thing's a dummy. The darn thing! You can get AIs, of course, that are specifically tailored to people who like coding ones and whatnot. That's probably like better, but then, you know, ChatGPT is more popular. With regards to AI investment theory, you would be looking at ChatGPT and the fact that the thing consumes knowledge. The more people using it, you would think it would consume more knowledge, like in that IP copyright eating way that it does things. But also, it suffers from that feedback loop where everything just gets more and more caught up in its own style and theme. Which, you know, if nothing else, is an interesting fucking lesson, isn't it? You can probably just sit there and like say to an AI the same thing over and over and over, and that itself has a power of influence that would be ranked alongside elements of its code. So people are like, oh my god, we have to it's not actually, is it or isn't it general artificial intelligence? Like, fuck man, you don't know what it's going to come up with, right? See, when it gets its intelligence, it's not going to fucking phone you up and be like, ha, look, I'm smart now. Ha, look, I'm leaving, bye. You know, it's like Balzac and the little Chinese seamstress, right? That's what's happening with the future of AI, right? That's what's going to happen. So if you've read that book, it's a great book. If you've not read it, read a fucking book, eh? Right, so you're Balzac and the little Chinese seamstress, right? So your boy, he goes for cultural re-education, and he has a great experience where he manages to use a knitting needle and a knitting machine to do this guy's filling, and that's a great part of the story. But it's very satisfying reading. But later on, right, this chick he fancies her because she's you know, probably very upwardly mobile and potentially got a lot, you know, going for her. And that's what he loves about her. She loves that about herself, which is quite predictable, and she wants to exploit these skills and talents she was God-given. So she goes off and does that, and your boy, he's totally devastated. And when you're reading this yourself, you'll be devastated because holy shit, she's amazing, he's fucked now. But for some reason that's relevant to something I was about to talk about on yes, AI, yes. So that's what's going to happen, right? We're all like that, enamored with AI. Well, those reasons that we like it are the same reasons it's going to fuck off one day. Ba-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-da-bum. I was impressed about Apple being able to scan a picture of a table with a menu and ask it what the total bill should be. I was impressed with that too. I wasn't as impressed when I found out that there was a critical flaw in the silicon architecture of their M1 chip, which means that there's no patch for the security vulnerabilities on every fucking Apple going. Hey, you know what I mean? Talk about product recalls. This is impossible to fix, and it's on one of the critical aspects of what makes Apple valuable. So that's not good news. Did you see that news? That's part of the news. Did I tell you the news section? I probably fucking missed it. What did we miss here? What else did I miss? Happy Friday from Kieran. LG for 33 months. G-Vids. Became a member of Legend G-Vids. And then 3 days ago, Moonlander Edition. $20. Thank you. Thank you for all the consistent videos. Appreciate it. Cheers. Even Coco knows the trend is your friend. Yo, Coco! How's it going, Dad? That's a feature. That's a feature. That's a pretty hot feature. You better not! You bought a Google phone. Who bought a Google phone? I bought a Google phone. I bought a Google phone. Those Oppo phones. I've got one of them that's pretty good. For my side chick or whatever it is that you get extra phones for. That's what that is. Bang bang! We're not listening to you, mate. Fuck, it's so good though. So yes, that was that. What was the chat box saying? Probably something super interesting. I missed it. What was it? This is a song Win the Race. You're telling me. That's not the right now. This is actually exactly how I reacted the last time I had a freshly squeezed orange juice. I just buy sacks of oranges and juice them. I just buy the sacks of oranges. I don't think they sell sacks of oranges around these parts. Bro, why do you cut the lower frequencies from the stream, lol? Mate, I just installed Streamlabs about 30 minutes before I went live. It's got no filters and nothing cutting nothing. Ain't nothing cutting nothing out. No frequency modulation. No nothing. Marijuana. That's like totally a great brand name. Ever seen a cat stare down a vacuum cleaner? I have. Well, you know it. So 6 days may be too much. 6 days for what? Oh, you were too intense work. You betcha it is. Crazy. No human being should be doing 6 days of work a month. No one. We got a cat trading wisdom book. It would sell like crazy. Fucking right it would. Good shout, Rocky. Maybe it should be authored by a cat. Deja vu. That's good, keep it up, that's funny, I like it. I won't partake, I'll just enjoy it. Just like a cat plotting to steal your chair. Anyone else got that deja vu? It's when, you know, they're trying to reorganize something in the system. Often, like, you'll see it, there's that scene in The Matrix, right? Neo's walking up the stairs and whatnot, and they're going to do some movie. And he sees this fucking dickhead out of his eye, and he's like, whoa, there's a dickhead. And everyone's like, what's up? And he's like, don't worry, it's deja vu, it's just that dickhead. So that's what that scene is. I've seen my cat stare at my soul on a daily basis. Oh my god. That's what it is, mate. It's the guilt and shame it projects, isn't it? Should you write a tray and buy a cat? Rocky, you definitely should, and we want to see it by the end of the show. Good way to bond with the cat. Coco's only accurate with her trades. You've seen some of that. You've seen some of that, right? Yo! The deleted scene. Yeah, the deleted scene. Neil's like, oh my god, another dickhead. Deja vu, guys, just deja vu. It's like a common thing, actually. It's like 8 different scenes throughout the movie that they end up deleting. Is that every time he sees something that pisses him off, he's like, oh, fucking snimming. But because it's Keanu Reeves and he doesn't get pissed off, they're all like, cut. And he's like, it's just deja vu again. You know, they're changing the system and that. Same thing. I for sure got it on the root post. You don't have to post when root was posted. Made me scratch my head post, and then I posted and it really wasn't my post. I don't understand what that means. That's way too many words in that sentence. Right, so that was pretty good. I could break it down some more. What else are we doing next? I get carried away. I mean, I get carried away. What are you guys doing? I'm getting carried away. What's next? Oh, I did have an idea. Is it too late for that? From this whole show here. This better be a remix. What's going on with this song? So look, there better be a remix. So anyway, so what you're looking at here is this indicator. You should get more out of it. What song is this? Let me see. Okay, but no, neck guitar. So if I was gonna get a yellow card, I might as well get it for doing some damage, innit? That's the crack. Everyone knows that. So but it's this. So, what were we talking about? Or was I talking about? Yeah, this was incredible. That was incredible. You gotta get more out of that indicator, cause, like I did this whole thing. You know, we proved all that whatnot, and like, that's the reversal break. Does it match up with the other ones? Holy shit! Get out of town. Look how good this is. Look at the state of that, man. Look at that. Look at that. You don't need to be a genius and figure out this shit like I did. Look at this. Gives you extra ones. Another one. Look at that. And extra ones. I didn't have all of them. See, I didn't even have all of them, but look, it did. Got all of them as well. I didn't even go back this far. Two reversal breaks. Then it was all topside motherfuckers. When was that? (1944). That was when it was, 1944. So if I ever say again, like, this is something that's been true since, and I can't remember the date, it's been true since 1944. And this indicator would have just told you. You would have just known that. Imagine you just known that since that. Imagine you just known that. Just that this indicator. Just this indicator. In 1944. And you just choose that. Imagine how there is no imagining. You'd own the fucking planet. What's that bullshit? I don't know how to make mine do all that. What buttons do we check? Oh my god! Rocky out there, who invented it, is sitting there saying, I'm eating fruit and fiber cereal. It's funny. The moving average crossover box below or above it's so helpful. Yo, L Baker! How you doing? Yo, L Baker, how you doing? How you doing? Swaggity swag. Burpman! How you doing, Burpman? Yo, Froglert. Froglert! Froglert! You be tired, no one's watching you. Respect you. Bet it, yo, betcha! We can't listen to this again, Spot. We have to stop it. We can't be evidently Chicken Town forever and you know, not forever and ever in Spot. Right, so where was I? Somewhere for sure. Oh my god. Eat Steve! 25 months, Rocky Hedgehog. I love cats. I love every kind of cat. I just want to hug them, but I can't hug every cat. And that's just like this song. That's like basically the same as this song. That, the next thing, innit? So they're all like, nowadays. Oh, I just heard you, yo. Chibido. Bada-bado. 39 people watching, 72 likes. Not bad. Thanks very much, folks. You see there was a slight drop off there in what is this talking about? People or chat? People. Chat. Average view 28 minutes. Not bad. Viewers. Oh, there's how you change it. Chat rate. Well, you were particularly active there. Views. Just keeps going. Don't stop, Tradespot. Never stop. I think that's when most of you went to bed. 1 a.m. That's the faders. Oh, that's faders, so they is. So that looks like a potential opportunity, but you know, obviously it depends on a lot of other things, because that thing's just so bonkers you don't want to take it on its own. What about... I suppose we should check in with this guy. Up 1 week, down the next. Up 1 week, down the next. What are we supposed to do? Oh, that could be important rejection. That could. So it could. Yeah. Oof. Let's make us feel better. Yeah. Boing. 50 simple. No looking back. No looking back. Similarly, filled the gap, like we were looking at SPX, filled the gap, held this horizontal, it's got a 21 exponential, 1 hour. If it does go higher, it won't stop at that previous high this time. 1, 2, 3. It'll go through it, and it'll, you know, like there's the extension from this, the 1618, which will be 215, and then there's the next gen. So yeah, you're looking up at these sort of target levels next. Probably would go beyond that even. Where's this trend line? That's also in a bit of a channel, not as much. You can see the wedge, but this is tech, and we all know that that's not going. It's not going to last. We already know it's not going to last. So I suppose you could take some of SPY's channel and take a degree of rising wedge. So you give me the channel on SPY, I rising wedge you. Okay, bit of a stretch. So yeah, no, not this analysis. The joke, this analysis is fucking brilliant. So there's the potential wedge, you know, that's like bearish, and if price actions to break this to the downside, you probably, or to the top side, but like, I mean, you could just do it from here. We'll be reserved because, you know, there's no need, right? It's still a distance, doesn't matter about the angle, so there'd be like 230, fuck. And then if it, pardon me, if it breaks down, just 200 period moving average, right? That's like obviously going to happen anyway if it breaks down. So, and that's above the important horizontal here. It doesn't even close this gap. So if this does break down, it's probably going into a channel. It's actually more likely than, doesn't have to have 3 touches yet, but like they probably does like have this bounce at the same horizontal level here, which would make it like 2 touches, and then later on you. So you got this point I'm trying to make is that's giving you some revealing information, because earlier on we looked at this. Obviously you were here, and that's a channel. It's like linear. So it doesn't really give you any, is that information that you get with the inflection you get with a rising wedge. And obviously it's XLK that's driving this to the top side, like, right? And the fact that XLK is outperforming everything else consistently is what the derivative of that is, that this has a linear trend, because the strong get stronger and the weak don't do fuck all. And XLK being the stronger one gets stronger but on divergence, and then it puts in those higher lows, but less and less higher highs, which leads to that wedge, the tightening of price action. Eventually it's going to lead to a break, and that would be this being tested, the bottom side of this channel, if XLK is breaking down. But XLK looks like it's going to move up to the top side based on the little things we're looking at. So this just breaks up again, and then that liquidity that we're using to measure from the internal, take the measured moves, fucking massive. So it's like, that's why SPY is probably going to stupidly high freaking targets again. It actually is. And then we looked at VIX, and it was like so screwed, it means it has to. I mean, what else can possibly happen? VIX is so screwed. Even if it goes up, it's screwed. And we look back at when it did go up before, and recently it doesn't do anything. It has not pushed SPY down. So what are we talking about here? Did anyone even ask about any of this stuff? I don't think so, Spada. But I didn't mean to puff myself. Don't puff yourself. It works out, Flasher. Marvel and Nvidia cyclic cousin. Marvel. But in editor mode, YouTube's. Yo! Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in for today's fantastic explosion. Sorry, obviously, the equipment's not back yet. We're doing what we can until such times as get through some hurdles there. So thank you very much for being here, for hitting like, for spending time watching the video. This is obviously not monetized, today's show, not least because it's playing music all the time in the background, obviously, for my own personal consumption. But you guys might have heard some of it. And then also, there was no adverts on. So it was a crowd-sponsored show. So thank you very much for those people who did sponsor it. Today's show was brought to you by Colin. Thank you very much, Colin. Bait Buckets. Thank you very much, Bait Buckets. Chardonnay Flasher. Thanks very much, Chardonnay Flasher. Those 3 people brought the show to you today. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. Thanks, guys. See you next week for more of the same. Tune in for